Hi, everybody. This is Micah Lieberman coming to you just a week after Scope. I have on my, Kim, I don't know if you saw, I got my Scope golf shirt on, even though I can't golf. I got the shirt. And I'm with Kim Boericke, rhymes with America, which is what she just told me, which is very funny. She's the CEO of Veristat, and she's got a big job, a lot of experience, been coming to Scope for a while, presenting and discussing and doing things. So thanks for doing this fun Voices of Scope video with me.
Yeah,
It's
no
painless.
problem. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, before we start recording, I kind of just asked you, so how was Scope for you? And you said something interesting, which I think is what we should talk about,
Sure.
which is I agree with, but I think that I'm completely biased. I've kind of see this set of topics growing over time. Say how I'm going to prompt you with just that general thing, but then let's go further. So how was Scope and what was kind of some of the stuff that got you excited?
So for me, it was amazing to be back at Scope. I'd taken about a year or so off with changing a job and moving in and getting into my new role. But for me, it felt like twice as many people were there from the year before. And honestly, what I felt like it was the first time that I felt like I've been at a conference where what we've been talking about for the last 5 years is actually becoming tangible and it's starting to be embedded into the way we're designing trials, the way we are working with sites and with patients, and just finally getting to a place where we can see some innovation and improvement in something that we've been talking about for probably the last 20 years in clinical research.
And so, okay, this is interesting because we do hear those complaints. You, like we're all together, we're a community at Scope, but a lot of these people, they started at a certain point in industry and they've been going along and they often are the change agents. They're the people that want to embrace the new, the innovative to make things better.
Mhm.
And some of them, many of them, are frustrated while also still excited by their jobs. So you just said something optimistic, which you felt that there is a change. And I don't know if there was a panel where we kind of, one of our panel moderators during the keynote, I think it was Jared, kind of asked three of our different panelists. We had more of like a ClinOps
Yeah.
person, a data scientist person, and a big tech person, right? All of them have big, important jobs, different lenses. And I think Jared was trying to hold their feet to the fire of like, okay, this is all really cool. When do you see big changes coming? And it was pretty interesting to hear people say, 2, 3 years, two,
Wow.
three, like big changes. Like it's a little messy right now. Where do I deploy and apply AI? How do I do it well? So you're saying something optimistic too. So tell me, in your own work, you work with a lot of clients.
Yep.
So you have different types of trials and all this. So where are some of the areas that you're not just Veristat, not what you guys are, but in general, where is that optimism coming from? Where are you seeing that efficiency improve or collaboration improve? Give me some examples of things you're seeing.
So, so the big thing that I'm seeing is the need and desire to reduce, we'll call it the white noise between phases.
Okay.
And I think with the new technology and data integration and kind of better insights being available, you're seeing that white noise kind of getting tighter and closer. And some of it is, reflection of what happened during COVID. And you see Moderna and Pfizer being able to whip through phase 1 through phase 3 submission in less than 12 months. But I think what we learned from that is that if you're looking at your data and you're analyzing your data and you're using data to drive the direction, then you're able to make decisions about the next phase before you get to the very end and you're waiting on the final study report. And then you're going to sit down with your team and you're going to plan the next phase. So as a result, we're able to kind of just decrease it. Not great yet, but we're decreasing that time from phase 1 going into phase 2, going into phase 3, and definitely decreasing the time from your pivotal to your submission. I think with the technologies that are out there now, even if you don't say, oh, AI is driving a lot of it, there is starting to see a decrease in that. I also think, as you start looking at things like site networks,
Yep.
back back in the day, it was like, oh, you got to go to a site network. But site networks are a network of physicians that have a pool of patients. Not all of those patients are patients that have indications or diseases that you need to treat in a clinical trial. So those networks started to be very focused on vaccines and very general prophylactic type studies, not on evidence-based solving your problem trials. The newer networks that seem to be coming up now are much more specialized. They actually are driving towards the patient populations that we're starting to really want to be able to do research on. And then I think when you layer that on top of better protocol development, hopefully, there is a lot of discussion at Scope this year around how do we make protocols better. I mean, we've talked for years about unicorns. Unicorns. How many unicorns? The purple one, the pink one, the one with the gold. I think we're finally getting smart in our old age to start looking at the patient that's actually going to be taking our drugs and actually developing a protocol that meets their needs, and therefore their patients you can actually find in these site networks, and using AI to kind of look for patient pools out there.
Why are we getting smarter? Because, we talk about this so much at Scope. We have entire sessions dedicated to it. We have a lot of passionate people, both individuals within companies, people like Ken Getz who are looking at industry, people like, Rob DeChico at Transcelerate, like these groups that are trying to facilitate some pre-competitive collaboration. And this is one of those areas, right? So the discussion's been happening for a long time. We've been telling ourselves and within our own company, yelling over the fence, hey, this protocol is really complex. I just want to tell you it's going to be a problem. And then it's a problem, and it costs money and it costs time. What's changed? What is somebody listening? What's changing?
I wish somebody was listening. I'm hopeful people are listening, but I think honestly, some of it is coming back to, I think, drug development companies actually engaging the patient population in their study designs directly. I mean, I know the FDA kind of mandated that a few years ago, but I think they're starting to take that to heart and asking patients, would this be something you'd be interested in participating in? What would you do differently? And I think that type of feedback, whether it's coming from more of a web-enabled environment, or whether it's coming from more of individual feedback, we're smarter on how we're collecting that data now. It used to be you would get 20 patients in a room and you'd get, group speak. And I don't think that really helped us in defining what was best for the patients. But there are a lot of services and solutions now that are going directly one-to-one and gathering the information. And I think that helps.
So the difference between, like, maybe even 6 years ago, when somebody said, hey, we have a patient lab, or we have a more than an advisory board, but really it's still kind of in a way a primitive focus group.
Yes.
Right.
Very much so. And it's
now,
it's evolved. I mean, there are several companies out there. I mean, I can even say my previous company that would ask the question directly, and the patient would just talk on the phone. Like you're just talking to a friend. You answer the question. You can talk for as long or short as you want. And they were able to then gather quantitative, but also qualitative information. And then that is then embedded back into the design of the protocol.
Right. And it's the same with anything. If you're a product developer, right? We've had this discussion at Scope of, like, how do you actually gain patient insights? And there's a lot of people at Scope from different groups who are experts and very passionate about the patient voice, patient insights, and how do you do that? So I not only think everybody agrees we have to do it, it is a key part of it, but the how has gotten very sophisticated. And I think that's probably what we're alluding to now, of we're starting to maybe see that improvement. And that is a huge discussion. We'll keep going on it. All right, we got to go. One more thing. What was one more takeaway from Scope for you that was optimistic?
I would say that AI is no longer aspirational. Especially walking through the exhibit halls now, you're starting to see it actually become embedded in actual workflows and outputs. And I know I'm going to give a plug for Veristat. We're also looking at that as well from a data analytics perspective, from Biostat's side of the business. And I think as more companies are starting to come forward, still having the brain be in control, so the human is still very much driving it, but
Right.
you're taking the hands and feet work off of the brain and letting the brain do what it does best.
Yep.
I think as we start to see that more, that's also going to start shortening the times and moving things through better and providing better insights.
Good.
It's all about the
Good.
insight.
Yeah, this is a positive conversation, right, Kim?
Yes,
Exciting times.
absolutely. It's
Cool.
a very exciting times.
Yeah.
And hopefully it does evolve faster than 3 years. I know it's taken us a long time just to get EDC
Yeah.
adopted.
Uh,
So
that was
hopefully,
one of the references. That was one of the jokes from like, what did we cover at the early scopes? Because it's almost been 20 years we've been doing scopes. That's funny.
yeah,
All right. This is good. Thanks for hanging out, Kim. Thanks for doing this conversation.
you're welcome. I'm happy to meet you, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, take care.